So if we are not getting that order confirmation screen, right, what will happen? Basically, we'll get the error, and as soon as we are getting error, our flow will stop, right? So can you see here? We have five records. Out of five, the second may be incorrect record. Okay, that will not be accepted by the system or application, and because of that, we will get any error. Okay, so in that scenario, what we have to do, whenever we'll get error, right? We have to click on the OK button. Okay, right. At the same time, we have to close here. Okay, and if you are writing here, for example, right, we'll mention invalid data, not processing. We'll see that, right? But we have to click on the OK, right? Close that window, and at the same time, what we have to do, we have to mention the transaction as a failed. Okay, into the queue, right? After that, for the next record, this screen will be ready. Correct. So this is the purpose of exception handling, so that it will click on the OK and it will continue processing next set of according, right? So what we have to do, we have to add the exception handling as well in your process, so that if there is any issue, any problem, we'll be able to handle it, right? If it is possible, and then it should continue of processing further. Okay, so this is the purpose of exception handling. Okay, clear? So now you people have created the flow, right? You have already created the flow for the training order system. Okay, so what we will do, let me do one thing. This is one, right. First, I will just take it out. I will, I will give this and I will put it in. Okay, so this is our flow, right? So far, as usual, right? So now, if you want to handle the exception, okay, if you want to handle the exception, what we have to do? We have to add this processing into the try catch block. Okay, so try catch is one of the exception handling technique, right? So how to add this into the try catch? Okay, either we can add any steps into the try catch, right? But we are thinking here we are getting a possibility for the error. So I will go right click and mention surround with try. Okay, so you can see it has added into the try catch. As soon as it has added into the try catch, it is showing the error. Okay, I will tell you why it is showing it. Go inside. Okay, so here, as soon as we are added into the try catch, there are three sections. First one is try, second one is catches, and third one is a final. So what do you mean by try? Try means which steps we are adding. Okay, whatever the steps we are going to automate, right, that will add it here. So there is a possibility of getting the error. Okay, so all the steps we have added here, there is a possibility of getting the error. Okay, now whenever we are adding here, we can see catches section, finally section. What do you mean by catches? Whenever there is an error into the processing flow, what will happen? The flow will jump immediately to the catch, right? Catch it. So we have to catch that exception. Okay. So how to catch that exception? Add new catch, right? I have clicked on add new catch. Exception is there. So we can select anything from here. For example, this is very common exception. System exception. Okay. As soon as we select that exception, this you can see added here, and it is saying drop activity. So as soon as we are getting the exception at any point, okay, what the flow will do? Directly jump into this exception and it will not execute the further. Okay, so now it is into this exception. So here we have to add the steps for our exception handling. Okay, so as we talk, whenever we will get error here, right, we have to handle that exception. So what are the steps for the exception handling? Right? We have to click on the OK button. Right? So go here, add those steps. This application. Okay, indicate. Right? I have it. Then make sure we should mention close never open mail. Okay. Now what is the next thing? We have to click on OK. Click on the OK. So I'm going to click on OK. Okay. And it is saying anchor is not defined, right? So maybe we can give this anchor here for the error. Okay. For the error, I have given it as an anchor. Confirm. Okay. So whenever the screen will be there, it will click on the OK button, right? Okay. This is not enough. We have to close this window, right? So take one more. Okay. So screen is different, right? So again, we have to do use application. Okay. Then we'll take it out. Or what we can do, right? We'll add a sequence, right? Stop making complicated. We'll add a sequence. Okay. So in a sequence, we can add all things, right? Now I will add, okay, this one and we use a use app. Okay. So what we have to do here on this application, we have to click. Where we have to click? We have to click on here. Right? Or if you want to do the anchor, we can do the anchor as a new order. Okay, confirm. Done. So here also, please make sure add this property close never open. Done. What else is left? We have to set the transactions. Okay. Set transactions status. Okay. So go here, right? What is the path? This is the path. Okay. Transaction item. This, this one, right? And here we have to mention it as a failed. Okay. And what it is mentioning, mention the, okay, here you can see mention the reason why it is failed, right? So we'll mention, for example, invalid. Okay. Then error will go to the properties, right? Here it is mentioned as a business. Okay. That is the reason business is there. Okay. We'll talk about like what is business exception, application exception. Okay. Time being, we have done this. Okay. Right. So we have seen try, we have seen catches. Okay. Now there is a third block, which is a finally block. Okay. There is a third block, which is called as a finally block. So what we discuss when we are or when our automation is executing your steps, which is mentioned into the try, if there is a error, okay, if there is a error, then only it will go to the cache. Okay, then only it will go to the cache. But if there is no error, or if there is a error, right, still it will go to the finally block. Okay, so there is no condition for it to go into the finally block. It will go by default. Even though it's successful, even though it's a fail, it will go to the finally. Okay, so here what we can add. Okay, suppose if we are having transaction as a successful, we can mention transaction as a successful, right? But if there is a error, okay, uh, we can we can send a message, okay? Or we can send a email communication to the respective team, like or to the support team, like this exception has occurred, and please have a look at it, right? So what we will do here, whatever the exception we are getting into this exception, okay, we will take into the variable, okay, we'll take into the variable. So assign, take this assign here, okay, okay. And how to get that exception, right? Here we have to write exception dot message, okay, exception dot message. So whatever the exception will be available here, okay, whenever we'll get error, it will be available into this expression exception dot message, and we are taking this into variable, okay. So we can increase the scope because we have to use. So we'll increase the scope as a try catch, okay, try catch. Now we'll go to the finally, okay. In the finally, I will use if condition because we have to take a if condition, right? Only will get a message, okay, when there is a error. If there is no message, will not get the error, right? So here what we can mention, where exception is nothing, okay, where exception is nothing, right? So if this condition is true, what do you mean by it, right? It means we don't have any error, okay. If this condition is failed, what do you mean by it? It means we are getting error, right? So whenever we are getting error, this is just for our information, okay? So we'll just put a message. So here we can mention exception occurred. Okay? Please see the logs. Please see the error or log, whatever, right? And we can mention plus where exception. Okay? And if it's all good, we will add a log message. So what log message will do? It will write into the console or output. So here mention no error. Or maybe we can mention transaction success. Okay, okay, transaction success. And these are the log levels, right? So we'll add this for the information, right? Now we are good. Save. We'll go to the cloud. We'll close this meantime. Okay. Level 2. Okay. So all are there is no queue with the new status, right? Go. But before that, we check one. Okay. Let's start. Now make sure you are using the try catch. Okay. So if you are using this try catch and all, don't run your flow in a debug mode. Why? Because as soon as error occur, it will stop on the same step. It will not jump into the catches, right? So either you can use run file or either you can use run. Okay? Anything is run file basically is for if you have more than one file, right? And if you want to run only particular file, we can use a run. Okay. And the purpose of run is irrespective of where you are. Okay. If you click on the run, by default it will run your main file. Okay, first record it will work perfectly. There is no problem. or second, right? Now here it should give the error, and our bot should able to handle that exception. Okay, so we got it. Now it will wait for few seconds because it will try to search that order confirmation screen, right? And if it's not getting, it will throw the error. Okay, then it will go to the caches, right? Then it will click on the OK button, close this, it will mark the exception, right? And then it will give the our message. See, now it is into the finally block. Okay. In first transaction also it was into the finally block, but it has written into the console. Okay. So if you want to see, right, see, it has mentioned transaction successful, right? Whatever we have done. So click on the OK. So this is the error we have received, right? So we can communicate this error to the support team via email, right? Okay. Now it will move to the next step. Now all the transactions are good. So it will go ahead and it will perform all the actions and will not get any kind of error. So you can see it is adding it to the console. Same concepts we have to see into the framework also, but before that, just get an idea. We have taken this exam. I think it's the last. Okay. So if you go here, right, where we got the error, right? We got the error here. Okay. Here. No, we got the error here. Basically, it was not getting that string, right? So whenever we got the error here, what our automation will do, it will not go to the further step. Okay, so it did not went to the set transaction step. Directly it jumped back to the catches section and it has performed the respective action. Now if you go here, okay, so you can see this transaction. Let me see this transaction has failed. Okay, at the same time, here it will tell you the reason as well. So whatever the reason we have given, right? So it will give that reason. Okay, so it will show when it's failed and all, right? It will give you all the required information. So this is the importance of try catch. So in case any error we are getting, right, we will handle it at the same time. After handling it, it should continue our automation. Okay, so this is the purpose of try catch. We'll see this in more detail into the framework level, right? So any question, clear? Okay. So if it's clear, can you please try? But when you will like complete your flow, make sure you can add some invalid records, okay, into your Excel file here, so that you can see like it is working or please go ahead. So first thing we have to add this into the try catch. As soon as we have added this try catch, right, what we have to do in the catches section, we have to define the exception. So we have defined the exception, right? After defining the exception, here we have to add the steps, right? For the exception handling. So we have to click on the OK button, right? Here also we have to close that window, right? And at the same time, we have to set the exception as a, we have to set the transaction status as a failed. Okay? And at the same time, we are taking exception into the variant. Okay? And once it is done into the finally, right? We are doing these steps. So please go ahead.